So today we're joined by Mat Steinwede. Now, a lot of you in the real estate industry would know Matt because he's just one of the industry leaders in Australia and really highly followed and highly thought of guy in the industry. But those of you who are the general public, buyers and sellers, may not have heard of Matt. And Matt's, as I said earlier, one of Australia's leading agents. But he's got a terrific story, which we won't go into too much. But, you know, he's gone from being homeless to 25 years later being one of the leaders in our industry and owning, I think you've got 5 offices now, Matt, part of?
I'm 7 now.
7. So I'm a bit behind the time. So from homeless when he started in real estate, that didn't even own a car, Matt, you were walking or bussing everywhere.
I did. It was embarrassing.
That's an incredible story. But that's just that says a lot about you, mate, that, you know, the fortitude that you've got. So now running this massive business, and I think you've got a partner in that business also. Yeah. But, you know, over 100 staff, lots of salespeople, you know, selling hundreds of millions of dollars worth of property. What a journey, you know. So welcome to Adelaide Real Estate Podcast.
I'm buggered. No. Thanks, guys. Good to be here.
No worries. Now, before we get started, Matt, anyone that doesn't know, where can they find you? If they want to check you out online or on social, where could they find you?
Matt Steinwede. Yeah, there's not many Steinwades around, so don't mind me.
Just good to find you.
Matt with 1 T.
1 T. Matt with 1 T. Yeah, no Matthews.
No Matthews.
So, Mari, would like to kick it off, I think. With,
yes. Well, as Paul has said already, you're one of the top agents in Australia, selling hundreds of millions of dollars worth of property. And Matt, we'd like you to share with us some tips you give your vendors or clients on how to set their houses apart from the competition.
Yeah,
so
I think
with regards to presentation, price, sales method.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a really, really good topic. Like, I know real estate can be a bit like, a bit boring in a way. Like people go, oh yeah, just sell a house and present your house and whatever. But I think this topic is the most important because owners get too involved in it in a way.
Yeah.
They get too close. So first one, pricing. Pricing your house is going to be the make or break of the whole exercise. It's like a deal breaker in your marriage, same thing. It's a deal breaker in the process. And it's a very hard thing for owners to separate agents because they can't see what an agent's like when they're interviewing them all. They all seem like nice people, all of them.
Yeah.
Well, unless they're just knuckleheads and they walk in and but they're all nice people. It's not nice you're looking for. You're looking for transparent and factual first. That's what I would say. So if they're pricing a home, I reckon one of the reasons Purple Bricks has left this country is because every property that I took over from Purple Bricks was priced too high.
Yeah.
And it not only that's like an agent might sound enthusiastic about price, but why are they saying this price? It's fine for an agent to say, I think your home's worth $650,000, but show me why it's worth $650,000.
Exactly.
An owner, when they're interviewing agents, they're doing exactly that. They're interviewing. It's like a job process. It's not about, does your son play for the same football team? And I know your niece's boyfriend's father, so you just sell my house because we've got some sort of common bond. Forget all that. Show me how you're going to price my home and show me why it's worth that amount. And then show me your strategy around extracting the best price out of the market. Take your emotion out of it and put your logical head on first. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and I think in the past you've said about that, you know, these people are relying on your information that you give them to make a massive decision. So they shouldn't take that. Obviously, us as agents should not take that role lightly, but the owner shouldn't take that lightly either. Because you said just because they met you down at the footy club or wherever, there's more to it.
Yeah, 100%. You look at out-of-area listings that agents list, and I don't want to get too technical around, you know, real estate jargon between agents, but out-of-area listings. So you see, you guys are area specialists. I look at all the stuff that you do. You do a great job, and you know your area. But sometimes an owner will use an out-of-area agent because they feel that believe in the property more or whatever, they hardly ever sell. Like hardly ever sell. So I think an owner almost needs to be not difficult, because I don't like difficult owners, but at the beginning, it's like work hand in hand in establishing price. It's not a guessing game. It's not the new price is right, and I'm not telling you what I think. You tell me what you think.
Yeah.
They'll remove all that. An owner should say, I think it's worth 650, 700. What do you think? Something like that. It's a together process, because Murray, you're going to think a property's worth something. Paul, you're going to think it's worth something different. Matt's going to think it's worth something different then. But then the bigger question is why?
Yeah. Back it up.
I would always engage the area specialist. I just would. They bring value to the process.
Yeah. And look, and you're seeing there seems to be two camps. There are the people that will go everywhere and sell everything, and then there are others who dial in and work on an area. And I think clearly you've worked in an area, because Terrigal, New South Wales, Central Coast, it's not a big area, is it? There's not a highly populated area, but you obviously know that, all the properties. You've sold probably most of them anyway, and you can drill down. You would know pretty closely what they're going to go for, and that's valuable information that you hold.
Yeah, it is. And there's passion around, and I'm not saying use the person only, like there's obviously a selection of people, but in the general area, that passion about an area comes, like, I believe that transfers to a buyer, and that can translate to more money for an owner.
Correct.
Like that passion and understanding around it, especially when the market's just about to kick again. Well, in our state it is.
Yeah.
Out there, but it's just about to kick again. And having that forward push with energy with a buyer, like helping them read forward and understand what the market's going to do, it's invaluable to an owner.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But it is a challenge, though, isn't it? And it's not the owner's fault, and it's not the agent's fault, but it is a challenge having that open, honest discussion for a lot of people, because I know in the industry, a lot of the time the training was around, don't give too much away, don't tell them the price, don't tell them what your commission is, and all this sort of stuff, just get them to sign the documentation. And then the owners think, well, all agents are liars. Who's going to be the cheapest?
That's why I love transparency. Transparency is the best meter in it's like the best meter in a meeting. I talk about price first. That's what I do. Let's talk about price. Get it out there. Let's see if we're on the same page, or if we can agree on some sort of range that feels about right.
Yeah.
I think agents that are really upfront, and if someone rings me on the phone, I know there's so much training around don't tell owners your fee. Someone rings me on the phone and say, what do you charge? I just tell them.
Yeah.
If they don't want to use me and never ring me back, who cares? Yeah. It's up to them.
Yeah.
But I love that cut through, because if an agent is like that at the beginning, they're going to be like that to deal with.
Yes.
They're going to have no bull crap attached to them. Yeah. And when they're giving them advice around, is it really the best price? Is it really the best offer that this buyer is giving us? If they're like that up front, they're going to be like that at the end. So I would use that as some sort of criteria of picking an agent.
Yeah, that's right. And it's just like you don't want your agent getting too emotionally involved in the process either. You want them to be independent. There's got to be empathy there, but you don't want them getting hung up and on your side and we have to get this price for whatever reason. It just has to be, give us the facts, and we just want the facts.
It's a together thing. Yeah.
Work it together. So price is obviously super important. What's the next stage from there? Is there a particular method of sale, or do you weigh that up with the type of owner that you're dealing with?
I think some agents are very auction oriented, some are other way. I just like to think what's best for the property and also what's best for the owner. Yeah. I think you guys would be wired a bit like that as well. I see all your sales, but sometimes owners just aren't auction geared. It's too nerve-wracking. I think that's got to be okay, because they've got to sleep every night. Yeah. They're going to go to bed and feel like they're in the right path. So any agent that's very pushy on one way, I probably wouldn't use them, because they're going to be pushy during the whole process. Yeah. Auction or private treaty, I think sometimes with auction, if it's a really desirable property and they know that it's like going to have quite a bit of interest, and they're not auction oriented, I'd say be brave.
Yeah.
And look down that path, because it's going to probably end up as a better result for them. But they need to go with what's going on in here.
Yeah. And look, and that's a challenge that we've had in the past, because we really believe in the auction process, and in our market it works really well. But you can see when you're talking to your clients, you can see whether they get it or whether they actually want it or not. And that's a fine line between pushing too hard because you really think that's the best way for them, as again, okay, we've given you what we think is a good way to go, but let's divert to where you want to be.
Yeah, I think, you're right. And sometimes I just say to people, let's just think about what's best for the property.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can detach a little bit and say, well, what is best for the property? Because they only get one chance to sell it correctly.
Yeah.
So, if it really is best for the property, then the owners need to sort of tune into that. Yeah. Even though they might not want to. Yeah.
That's right.
But that's also where, some good case studies and what's actually happening in your marketplace, being an area expert, say, well, these are what results are being achieved, and the days on market, all that sort of stuff. So I guess you need to be just knowledgeable around where you're selling and the product.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So method.
What about presenting a home, Matt? Do you suggest people get their homes styled, or does it depend on the property and the person, or?
Yeah, I think it depends on the property. Our photographer's really good. He's quite style oriented as well. I think some agents recommend stylists, and it's not necessary.
Yes.
But it's all about flow. So if a home flows well, I don't really go into too much, you must present it like this. I look at the home and it's all about energy. And I think, does it feel like neutral-ish, or does it feel like when you walk into the owner's home, like you want to be there?
Yeah.
So I think that if it feels nicely presented, I never really talk about it too much. Presentation is super important. But if it's a clean home that flows quite well, I think that's enough.
It is, yeah.
Well, you would have heard this a million times, and I certainly have, and Mari has. You ring someone back and you say, look, we've got an auction coming up, or you're coming along. Oh, look, we've bought something. Okay, well, why'd you buy that? It just felt like home, or it just felt right. So I think that's exactly what you're saying. It's, you can get a bit hung up on all this, and they all start looking. I know in our market, we've only got 3 or 4 stylists. They all use the same gear.
They look the same, yeah.
So you don't know where you are half the time. So, and I think, and also, not everyone has bucket loads of money as well. You've got to be mindful of that.
They do. It's like, I don't know what your grandparents were like, but when you go to a grandparents' house and it just feels warm and nice and homely, and it has you want to be there. I think that's the key. It's like when people feel a warmth enough to sit down and sort of say, I could just hang out here.
Yeah.
Not like I've got, like you say, the later, what stylists, I always wonder why they put shells on a tray on the thing and then they put a tray on the bed. It just looks dumb.
Yeah, same paintings on the wall. Yeah.
We've got a horse print in our marketplace that's been in about 100 properties, I reckon.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
105 places. So, so really what you're talking about is that probably the most crucial thing is find someone, if you're an owner, find someone that is knowledgeable in the area. They don't necessarily have to sell the most properties in the area, but they're knowledgeable and enthusiastic about your particular area. But someone that you feel that you can have an open and honest discussion and you can work with, because there's lots of people out there that list a hell of a lot of property, but don't necessarily see them through the whole process, or may not necessarily be getting the best result.
Yeah, for sure. And experience doesn't always equate to best price either. Like you're saying, I know some agents that are really experienced that are just terrible. They just don't care. But on the outside of it, an owner might think, they've been around a long time.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a younger, maybe older, but newer person that cares, but's researched and taken the time and prepared.
Yeah.
Because that comes a little bit, has a tricky area with negotiation, because they might not be the most skilled in negotiation. That part there, an owner would have to be aware of. But if an owner's pretty sure of where they want to be price-wise and work through that with the agent, I think they'd be okay. Because it's that passion and that keenness that will actually enthuse a buyer as well. So experience doesn't always equate to best outcome.
No, absolutely not. So flipping from the owner of a house to a buyer, what tips people obviously coming up to you all the time, you're meeting them at inspections, they're just getting into the market. What advice do you give them about, how do they go about it? What should they be doing? What should they be looking for?
As a buyer?
Yeah.
Get rid of the games. Just get rid of the games. Be really open with the agent. This is what I want. This is how much I got to spend. I can stretch a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's that connectedness that will make an agent help you more because they like you. It's like, let's work on this thing together. Come negotiation. Sure. But everyone thinks that there's this negotiation game that's got to be played. They've got to be, not everyone, but some people are got to be difficult and, it's like they've got to work out their price point, but it's a home. So you're going to be there a long time. Yeah. I've seen sales fall over because of the negotiation game that goes on, and everyone goes to their corners and no one's getting an agreement. And it's all just too hard. Get rid of that part of it.
Yes.
Do that part of it. Work with your agent, listen to their advice, move with them. You do all right. Yeah.
Good advice.
Well, that's what we've found. And we sold a house on the weekend at auction. We only had one person turn up and register. Other people bought other properties, and that's just how it ended up. But we had an open, transparent chat with them before the auction, came to a figure that they were happy to pay and the owner was happy to accept, and we sold it under the auction conditions. But if we'd have tried to play games and suggested there was all this other interest, but for whatever reason they weren't there, that trust just wouldn't have been there. And I think that's what you're saying is you've just got to trust in the process, and you'll soon find out who you can deal with and who you can't deal with.
People can feel it. They can feel when you... I think people appreciate, look, we've got no other buyers. You're the only one today. Who knows what will happen Monday, but today you're the one. So let's try and find a house for you. I think people, it pulls them to you.
Yeah.
When they're like that. And same as with buyers on the other side, when you ask the question about buyers, they need to be the same. Look, I want to buy this house. This is how much I've got to spend. Do you think I'll be able to buy it or not? Instead of this really twisted, tense.
Yeah.
And then they get stressed by the whole process,
They do.
It's just it's like a vicious cycle. So, look, there's some really good tips there, Matt. We've kept you for a little while now, but
just say one other thing to owners. Owners just need to do their part, present the house, do all that sort of stuff, engage the marketing, engage the best agent, then get out of the way.
Yeah.
Completely just hand it over, because emotionally, be okay with, I know they get anxious and stressed and some micromanage. The ones that micromanage never ever go right.
Yeah.
No.
True.
Much challenging.
Yeah. The ones that feel a level of certainty in, I've chosen the best people,
confidence,
have a strategy. Here you go, guys, and just check in every now and then, and let's work on this together. They always go well, and the price is usually right or better.
Yeah, true.
Owners need to stay emotionally steady and step out of it, and let agents do their job. But as long as the communication stays good, and I'll guarantee you their house will sell for a great price.
Yeah, much better price. And look, I'm glad you said that. We did a video earlier this year on exactly the same topic. We'd had a scenario where, long story short, we lost a listing that we'd had. Vendor just weren't on the same page. But they wanted control of the whole process. They just wouldn't take the advice. So it was a real challenge, and it ended on good terms. But you've employed an agent to do a job. Let them do the job.
Yeah, provided they do the job.
That's right. Yeah,
of course.
That's the caveat.
Yeah.
Provided they're invested and engaged and all that sort of stuff, and the owners will feel that. But that's the number one piece of advice I can give them.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, mate. And we know you've got a busy day. And I'll flick you a link in this when it's all done. And, feel free to share it with the millions of people who follow you.
Yes.
Good. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.